Okay, all right, we're back again. I can't remember what episode this is, but it doesn't really
No,
matter.
me
I,
neither. But it's an evening one. It's not a Sunday, but yep, we're back and lots more to say as always. And
yeah,
hopefully, yeah,
yeah,
hopefully you'll find it interesting.
yeah. So we wanted to turn this one, do a sort of more positive, have a bit more of a positive conversation rather this time around. I think the last few have been fairly serious and quite sort of deep and heavy. And we wanted to talk about the sort of some of the really unexpected benefits of quitting alcohol that you and I have both experienced. And I think this is a really good one actually, because I think, all there are a sort of set of kind of staple benefits that people tend to trot out when you quit, drinking, like you lose weight, you look better. Although I think the audience can be the judge of that one. You sleep much better. Clarity of mind, clarity of thinking, all that sort of stuff. But we decided we would challenge ourselves to think about, what was the most sort of unexpected benefit that we both experienced. And I thought about this one quite a bit. And I think the thing that's really, I think, been the most unexpected for me is that, look, we all have our own unique set of insecurities in life. We all have things that might create anxiety for us, that, stress us out, worry us, etc., etc. And when I was drinking, I kind of just, the things that would cause me, to feel compromised or, um, yeah, I suppose, any sort of insecurities I had, I kind of just lived with them. They never really went away. And I think now I look back, I feel like drinking alcohol, because you spend a reasonable amount of your time basically drinking and therefore not quite sort of tuned into the sort of reality of the world. They kind of just almost fester, certainly for me. And since I've quit drinking, one of the things that I've been able to really get my arms around are the sort of things in my life that I previously felt maybe not as confident about. And I've become much more comfortable with the person that I really am. And I suppose that's another interesting one, isn't it? I think maybe when you drink, the person that you really are gets kind of suppressed by, the drinking. And I think to some extent the bravado. I feel like I created a bit of an avatar personality that I would use to present to the world and to some extent hide behind it and hide behind the drinking. Since I quit, I've become um, it's allowed me to sort of be unashamedly me. I don't feel any need now to put on an act. Um, I'm fine with who I am. I'm not quite the extrovert that I think my drinking self would have had the world believe. And I'm kind of cool with that. That's okay. That's just who I am. And if I'm less worried now about other people not being okay with that because I am, I don't mind if I'm happy to be me. And I've also been able to tackle some of the things that I was previously, I felt insecure about. And I've kind of got my arms around them. I've got myself to a point now where there's that sort of stability and I'm comfortable. I'm way more comfortable now with who this person is, with who I really am. And I guess the sort of not drinking has given me the foundational platform to be able to tackle things that I think when I was drinking, I either ignored, pretended weren't there, or kind of hid from. And by not drinking, it's given me the freshness and the sort of clarity of mind to be able to face those things head on. And I've got my arms around it and I just feel much better in my own skin, I suppose.
Yeah, I think never a truer word spoken. I agree with everything you say, and knowing you, I see that that is 100% true. I think it's a return to self. That's how I see it. That's what it was for me, and I think that's just one of the, yeah, one of the most astonishing things about when you do give up drinking is that you kind of find your, yeah, you find yourself again. You find that person that you were before you started drinking, because everybody was that person. We didn't drink as children. Many people didn't really pick up a drinking habit until their possibly late teens, early 20s. And even then, I think that the people who end up with full-blown issues very young, it's quite rare. I think it's a slow burner, particularly alcohol. It takes many years, but it allows you to just be who you are and not worry about that person. Before, I was, when I drink, I'd become a bit of a sort of, you know, try and be the person I just am not, much more sort of chatty, animated, bit of a sort of Jack the Lad, everything's fine. But and then when all that's removed, you get, and we've spoken about this many times, a huge amount of time back. And you can use that time wisely. And what's mad is, whilst you get that time back, time now just goes super quick. I just find, how you can not have things to do is beyond me. But you're doing things that are worthwhile. And I would put stuff off and put stuff off when I was drinking, all sorts of things. There were no projects really. There were things you had to do. There were things you did: move house, go on holiday, meet up with friends, etc. But you didn't really think about things and plan things in the way that I do now. So yeah, just a return to self really, and a happy return to self. I am fairly shy in many situations, and I am completely okay with that. I don't need to be, the Ryan Gosling who can dance and sing and act. That's just not me. You know, he does that thing, and I do my thing. And I'm think people have got to get into their heads as well, because it's 100% true, is that stop looking at other people and concentrate on yourself, because those other people on the exterior may seem to be having a wonderful life, but I guarantee you everybody comes with their problems. Everyone has their issues, and drinking just removes 90% of them.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I think that's exactly.
Stopping drinking removes 90% of them.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that again, just going back to the benefit that I touched on, when you drink, I do think you hop between drinking episodes where we would talk up a great game.
Oh,
We get overexcited. We were going to kind of conquer the world and take on. We were going to achieve everything whilst we were drinking. And then, of course, the drinking would stop and the hangover would set in, and nothing would actually happen until you started drinking. In my case, what happened was that I just felt terrible and
mm,
didn't really want to face anything. And I think maybe one of the differences between the drinker and the non-drinker is the drinker's very good at talking about what they're going to do. I think the non-drinking version of you doesn't talk so much about it, but just kind of quietly gets on with it. And you
yeah.
touch on the thing about comparison, about don't compare yourself to other people. That's again, I've done so much learning, self-learning. You talk about return to self. I agree. I think you have that sort of fundamental return to the person that you are, the quintessential
Mm,
you, but maybe a little wiser, maybe with the benefit of the experience you've had of somebody that drank. And then, that I think creates its own humility and readiness to sort of stop the bullshit. I think, I'm much more honest. I'd say I'm honest almost to a fault now. I don't have any interest in trying to pretend I'm, somebody that I'm not. But I think when I drank, I was trying to pretend, mainly, mostly, probably to myself a lot of the time. So yeah, it's that ability to just face the person that you are, get to know your real self again, and feel good about it, and feel good about who you are, and not try to be somebody you're not. I think that for me is the biggest and most sort of surprising benefit that I've experienced.
Yeah, and I think another thing that I really want to make clear as well is the lying goes away. You just, I don't know, you just don't need to lie. You can just tell. There's nothing left to sort of be ashamed of, if you know what I mean. You don't need to say that, oh yeah, I only had a couple of pints when you had five. You don't need to say, oh, I didn't get in until midnight because such and such, and these little sort of lies. You don't need to pretend you're feeling absolutely fine when you're feeling like death's doorstep. You don't need to make excuses. You can just be utterly truthful. And two examples of that, I think the first way you can be truthful is you just you understand, you clearly understand that by telling the truth, by saying what you're going to do, is the right thing to do. So I like watches, and I buy cheap watches and all sorts of things, and I've got too many probably, but I like fun ones, and then I'll sell some, etc. And sometimes I might order a watch, and there's a temptation to sort of not say to my wife, oh, I've just ordered that Seiko, I want to see what it's like, and because you think, oh, what if she's not happy about it, but no, you don't need to. You just tell her, and then if she's not happy with it, then at least and the other thing about the lying sort of thing is there were times, and there's a particular situation, a scenario that I remember you telling me about, and I've been there myself, which is making those false promises. So I remember you were on holiday in Spain or somewhere. You were with a friend who'd come to visit. Your eldest son was probably about 6 or 7 at the time. And in the evening, lots of drinks, and your friend promised your son that he would do something with him the next day. And it was all this great thing, and this your son looked up to this guy and was excited. I can't remember what it was. It was like, oh yeah, we'll go to the beach, I'll take you out on a boat or something, whatever. Come the next day, hangovers all round. He didn't do it. He didn't even turn up, I don't think, or something along those lines. And that's the sort of lying that I know everybody who drinks does, because they come out with some bullshit, some like you said, world plan, some idea, some everything, we're going to be great. And I hear it, and when you go out with people and they're drinking and you're not, it starts to bubble up, and it's like, oh, here we go, we're going to get some, you and me should go and travel across Asia or something like that. And you're like, that's never going to happen. Why are you saying that? And that was called out to me one time when I was drinking. I said to someone about getting Arsenal tickets or something, and someone said to me, you really sure you can do that? And then I thought about it. I was like, the next day, and I was like, no, I don't think I can do that. And yet there I was saying I could. So yeah, I prattled on and talked about lots of things, but yeah, I just think that whole sort of lying and being truthful it really, really does, just disappear when you get off drinking, I believe.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think again, when you don't drink, your ability to show up is unquestionable. There's no doubt you'll be able to show up. And I think when you drink, you live with the constant reality that you either won't be able to show up, or if you do, you won't be firing on anything like all cylinders. And so that in and of itself kind of manifests a state of dishonesty with yourself and with everybody else, and that completely goes when you quit drinking. And the confidence that it gives you that whatever you decide you want to do, you can do. And I think also, going back to my point earlier about being more comfortable with who you are, I've found it much easier to say no to things now, things that I actually don't want to do. I won't agree to them. I don't, I say I won't. I'm not, I'm fallible. I mean, we all say yes. We'll think, but for the most part, I'm much better and much just more comfortable about. There are just certain things that I don't enjoy, and I'm not prepared to do them anymore. And so yeah, no, absolutely. So I think that's it. I mean, I think we've summed it up really, and it has, like I say, it has been when I stop and think about it, I do think that is the most unexpected one. That it is giving up drinking is so much more than just not drinking. All right. Well, I think as always, there's so much more to be said, but the risk is we end up with an hour-long video. So we'll kind of draw this one to a close there. I suspect we'll carry on and we'll come back to this topic because I like talking about the benefits of quitting because it reminds people of why they are doing it, because most people who listen to these things are either early into that journey or they just want to tune in and just listen to a couple of dudes talk about the things that they're going through. And it's worth being reminded of the amazing, life-changing, it's almost impossible to put into words how incredible it is. But we'll leave it there. And as always, if you do like the content, please like, subscribe. Please comment if you've got any topics you'd like us to discuss. Let us know. But yeah, otherwise, I think Matt, unless there's anything else.
No, I was just going to say, if you want to pick up my book, it's available on Amazon, Man Gets Sober. There's quite a few chapters that deal with a lot of these questions and topics, not in the detail that we go through in these videos. So keep watching the videos, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, but please read the book. It's hopefully got a lot of information that can help you.
Yeah, definitely does. It's fantastic. So cool. Awesome. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening. And until the next time, cheers.
Good night.